Good morning. I've decided that we are not starting season 4 here. I'm not going to do what we did last year, start season 4 and it just all goes downhill. And it sort of set the tone for the season a little bit for me. I've got a crack on the windscreen you've just seen on the van. And it's just getting bigger and bigger. It's set to rain all day. The rain is going from pouring to set a bit like this to maybe just easing off a tickle but never stopping. So I think we're going to have to face up to the fact that we're going to be getting wet today. So what's up for today? We are continuing winter 2023, season 3, winter. In today's show, weather permitting, we'll just get this battery box put back in. That was one idea I wanted to do. I've got the tent with me so we can fit the tent and just get that final touches to the tent done. We've got this little what do you call it, mizzen mast holder that we need to just get fitted and finished. It's one of those little projects that's not quite getting finished. What else have we got? We've got the furling lines to have a look at, and maybe that's something we can do. And then we've got I didn't bring my little mizzen flying jib. We could have maybe filled that up, but I fear it's going to be a quick one. We've obviously got to get the boat in and we've got to get her, in the water to test all of that as well. So I think we've got a mild break in the rain. So I'm going to get the boat hooked up and then we're going to try and get the boat in without cracking that blooming windscreen anymore. Oh my God, I've noticed that even sitting here, that crack has got bigger. So that's a little bit weird, isn't it? So I don't know. Yeah, I'm a bit worried about that. I've got to drive home with that. So I wonder if it's to do with the heat. I don't know. Yeah, we're going to move the van, get her on the level there, I think. And as you can see, I've got my raincoat on. We're going to brave the weather because otherwise we're just going to be sat here waiting. It is forecast to brighten up a little bit, but rain-wise, it's still forecast rain all day, so I think we just get on with it. We're sailors, for God's sake. We shouldn't be afraid of a bit of rain. It's not ideal, is it? But we've got to get her in and see, because if we leave her on the mooring and she sinks, that'll be you've got to learn from your mistakes. Oh God, the rain's getting worse. Put a little bit of extra tape on here, so the crack's sort of about there. So if we see it, we'll know for sure, that it's growing. But well, we know for sure it's growing. Hopefully that tape will just give it a little bit of help. But that was first time. Very proud of myself. Bearings are just out the water, which is good. We've got loads of water and loads of depth. Just got to find the couple of lines. It's cold. That's that one. Taken the safety harness off the front largely because it gets so in the way, but also I know how to do these now. After my brilliant little tuition from John last season, he's a truck driver and he showed me how to do it, and ever since I've been great. So she's ready to go. I mean, 2 minutes and she's ready. So let's just get her in the water and we're going to moor her up, and then we will, and then we'll let her sit there. I've just got to put the bung in first, but then we'll get her in. Normally I'd put around on the end, and the main reason you do that is so you're out of the way of if someone else wants to use the slipway. So, you know, you'd be in the way here, you'd certainly be in the way there. But because it's so quiet, I've left her here. And the reason for that, main reason for that, is if she is springing a leak, we can get her on the trailer much quicker. You know, because what's the chances if she's flooding that we lose a line and then we have to kind of pull her in, and you know, and every second might count. So what I would say is, so far so good. There's nothing, you know, major coming out of there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the cover on, which will get the, you know, it will stop a lot of the rain getting in, and then we'll use this little thing here just as a measure. We can put that down there because it'll go down the scuppers. We'll leave this out just to see how much rain we get, and then and then we'll leave her to see, just leave her to float, and then we'll piddle about with stuff in the van as much as we can. So, oh, before we do that, I do need to test the rudder, so let's do that before we go. Now, we haven't got the tiller handle on, so we've just got to be careful. But let's pop this in and see if she fits. This is a big moment of truth. That's not going in. Ah, that's annoying. I'm just going to put the tiller on quickly, just to give me a little bit more force. I'm worried that if I'm going to catch my fingers, basically. Right, let's give this a go. No. That's a bummer. That is a bummer. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but let's see, you may. Oh, actually, yeah. That's going to help me as well. This is the top bearing. You can actually see where the bearing, I don't know, is it catching the back? The bearing is just literally a bit tight, isn't it? That's a bummer. That is a bummer. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but let's see, you may. Oh, actually, yeah. That's going to help me as well. This is the top bearing. You can actually see where the bearing, I don't know, is it catching the back? The bearing is just literally a bit tight, isn't it? So, I don't know if I've got my bearings with me. No, because they're in the garage. I was going to get the other because I had a spare one. I think it was the other one that I tested the hole. This one I didn't, and I think there was like a little bit of bronze. You know, when they cast the bronze, you need to grind it away a little bit. So, I think we need to. I think that bearing's good. I think we need to just grind away at it until the bloody thing fits, to be honest with you. That's going to be a pain, isn't it? Because you're going to have to pull the boat out, grind, put it back in, and I'm worried that I'll be able to reach the bearing because it's right up. There's about that much, so I don't know how much. I don't think my Dremel's going to be able to get in there, so that is a pain, isn't it? It's yeah, it's not off centre. If it is, it's just at the back. Okay, I'm not going to force it, because if we force it, we're just going to lose the bearing again, aren't we? So we're just going to have to do that. There's no other way around it. The good news is bronze is very soft, so we could probably might have to come back next week and we get like a bronze, like a metal file that I think we can do it manually, and we'll just do it, and hopefully we can move the trailer enough to get the guide through. I'm not sure about that, but that's such a ball ache. Let's leave the boat there anyway, and let's see what happens. But I can tell you now, there's no leak in there. There's definitely no leak in there. Let's go and have a look in the van, see what tools we've got with us. Don't think we've got very many, so we'll have to see. The only thing I've got is my drill and some drill bits, but I don't want to make a mess of the bearing, because if I make a mess of it, I'm going to end up, you know, with a loose bearing that's just going to end up getting moved about a bit. So, oh, hang on, is that my Dremel under there? The other thing is the Dremel, the bits, no, I've got a Dremel battery, but I haven't got my Dremel, so that's gone. I think the best thing for us to do is I'm just going to have to buy a metal file that I know I can get up there, a nice round or half moon one, and we'll have to address this next week. So, yeah, no sailing today. I'm not going to put her on the mooring either, because what's the point? There's no point. If she's on the mooring, then, and I can't put a rudder in her, I don't think that's going to work. What we might do today, though, seeing as we've got her in the water, is put the strop and attach all that, because that'll make life easier next week. That's it. Ah, there we go. That's got 10 psi in it, and that's quite. I don't want to end up blowing it up, so you can always put a bit more in. But that is way more blown up than my. Ow! Just jabbed myself. But that's way more blown up than than the other one. There we go. Yeah, that's going to be brilliant. Don't forget how to do a bowline, for God's sake, Dave. It's the most important knot, I think. I think everything's made. I love a bowline. This is, I don't know if I explained that before, this is polyester core, or polyester 3-strand. You can use nylon. I did actually use nylon, didn't I? I had that old bit of nylon line before, which I think obviously bit the bullet. I've just put a knot in there. Every little bit helps. But this is supposedly the choice now for things like mooring lines, things like that. You can use nylon. Now, this doesn't lose. I think this is slightly less strong than nylon, but doesn't lose any of its properties when wet. Whereas nylon definitely stretches when wet, and I think it can lose a bit of its strength when wet. Now, that is a lot of line. That's way too much line. The way we're going to connect this is a bit different this year. So we'll just chat about that very quickly. Last year, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So what I did was I connected this mooring buoy to the... I think I actually connected it to the chain, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I think I actually connected it to the main chain, not the mooring chain. So it did its job. It did what it was supposed to do. You can tie this off onto the nylon and tie it fast. So when you pick this up, you kind of pick up your strop with it. Or you can just tie it to the same chain as the strop. Obviously, this is too much line, but we can't. We're going to have to cut the line when we get there because, you know, otherwise we don't know how long it needs to be. Weather's not changed, but we're going to go. Do we put the motor on and brave it? Yeah, because if we get this done, it'll be done then. And it'll give the boat its first little outing as well. Tools for the job. I've got my sailor's knife, and the most important thing today for that will be the shackle spanner. I've also got a pair of pliers because they are always very handy. Don't want to drop them in the water though. I've had them years and my favourite pliers. A knife for cutting the line and something to melt the line because that line needs melting when it's been cut. Wet bum time. One of the good things about today is we've got Lake Placid. It's actually a rubbish. Oh, gone the wrong way. There we go. So it's actually going to make doing this as easy as it can be. A crack on my windscreen is growing. It's growing all the time. So we have got a very limited time, I'm afraid. We're going to have to do this and probably go home and limp home, hopefully. I did notice when we were doing sort of 60 or more, the crack got worse. So, and then other than that, it seemed to stay where it was most of the time when I was driving. So let's touch wood. There's wood on this boat. Let's touch wood and hopefully we'll be okay. There's still quite a lot of debris in the water actually, especially near the shore. So when the lake fills up, obviously it brings a lot of debris with it. But hopefully it's just logs and sticks. There's our slipway. Look how sparse it is. All the bushes are all cut back and... Oh, it's not nice when it's like that, is it? Now, what I'm going to have to do is go forward and just sort of grab the mooring, and we'll just get the mooring line around it for now, just to tie us off. Otherwise, we're just going to float off. We'll try and come with it to starboard, and we're just drifting nicely there now. Right, here we go. Slippy. Woo. Bloody hell. Doesn't help this cover not being fully off. Let's just, now it's stopped raining a little bit. Remove the cover a little bit. Right, so I don't see why that just wouldn't go on the end. I mean, it's pointless having it here. And actually, I don't think it's just going to end up rubbing and too much. So I'm pretty sure that will go on the end. Here's the end of the strop. Here's the shackle. This shackle, still plenty of life in her yet. Which is a galvanized shackle. I didn't even clean this up. I think I just gave it a wash. And there we go, that's done up. But we're gonna just use this shackle spanner because I don't really use it very often. I don't think I've ever used it actually. So I'm gonna use that. That's how that works. You can see how much more of a turn you get in it. And then just for fits and giggles, let's just see if we can do more with the pliers. Not an awful lot more. There you go. So that's really well in. Now, the trouble with the shackle is, on a mooring buoy, is they are under load and they are constantly doing this. So you could loosen that. This, I forgot to tell you about, this is Monell seizing wire. And what this does is it stops the shackle or the pin from actually coming loose. So all you do is there's various ways of doing it, I think, but what you got to just do is stop it from turning around. So all it really needs is like that. And you can see now how if you pull that nice and tight with the pliers, you'll see that is now, it's not possible to twist. And then all we do is we twist that. To make that good. I hope you can see this. I didn't realise the camera has moved the tickle. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is snip these off. Let's put those. Put that in my pocket there. And then I think it's okay like that. Sometimes you can just bend that. So you can see now, if that were to twist round, it can't really twist round anymore. It's got that holding it. And then, you know, the trick is you should check them, especially after a windy, stormy weather. You should come and check your strop. It wouldn't take 5 minutes to pull that up, or 5 seconds to pull it up, have a little look, check the strop, whatnot. But that's the strop now done. So let's go on to the mooring buoy. Here's the mooring buoy. Now, let's show you. I've seen some people literally will double the mooring buoy up and they will do this and stick it over there like that. So let me show you that. Obviously we've got a load of line here that's in excess at the moment, and they do that. And I mean, I think they put it sort of that way down. Now, you know, the only thing I'd be worried about is if it loosens, you know, loosened, slipped up, and it came off the end. Some people put this right on the end, on the handle. Let's find the handle. So I've seen that as well. So they pull this up and they've kind of got the handle. So you don't have to still search for your strop. I think that's not going to work for me, that, you know. I think that's a little bit loose. So let's just untangle that. The other way, so the way I had it last year was, sorry about this, let me untangle this. We've got way too much line on here, haven't we? But there we go. The way I had it last year, I just had this connected about here, something like that. And then was just bow-lined into there. Now, the negatives of that are, well, the positives are you pull this up, you find your strop. Well, to be honest with you, that's the novice thing. Last year, I thought this was about pulling your strop up, but it's not. This is basically just to get a hold of your mooring. That's all it's meant to do. So the strop is, you know, if you can't, you know, the strop will just float there, but you can't kind of reach right down to the water. This is designed to give you a really good holding point. You can even moor off to that if you have to, you know, if you need to. So that's why you use a pickup buoy. It also shows people that this mooring is in use, you know. And then, you know, so that would work, just bowline to there. That's how it was last year. Would I bowline it to, let's just get it here. Would I attach it here instead? Well, that would be nice. Wouldn't get much rubbing here maybe, but I wonder, that's going to be like that. I wonder if that is going to get caught, you know, and it will rub in there. So I think it's probably, well, it's got these two links, hasn't it, doing that. But I think this chain is largely going to be, well, it's not going to be taut, is it? No. So, you know, I think you can see where the rope was because it's kind of cleaned this link a little bit. So, you know, I think that's what we'll do. We'll put it there, and then what we'll do, we'll just put this back in the water now, and we'll just have a quick look at how long we need this line to be. So, let's make sure we don't let go of anything. So you might be able to see everything. It's quite clear at the moment, this water. So that's how it would be. We could let it, so... Oh, so hang on. The strop has sunk. Why is the strop sunk? Nylon's supposed to float. Unfortunately, this line is wet now, so... Hey, we might have to cut it here where it's dry. Wow, look at that. Crikey. And then we just got to... Let's just do this side first because this is the important bit. Oh, now. And do a bow line. On that. There we go. Do you know what? I think that's how I did it before. It might have a bit more swing and sway on there, but I think it's going to work. Obviously can't, so I just picked that up. There you go. I think we could cut that down a little bit, couldn't we? But there you go. So I pick it up. There's my strop. There you go. And then we can pick that up more. I think we need to make this a bit shorter. So I'll do that and then we'll call it a day. One mooring done. Let's get the boat home. Yuck. I forgot just how mucky all the algae is and whatnot when you're doing these sorts of jobs. But there's the mooring buoy. Looks like everyone else's, so that's pretty cool. It has just started to rain again. It's building quite heavily again, so we're going to make a dash for it. I'm going to put the boat on the trailer straight away, get her covered up, and then I think we're going to go home. We'll check that crack on the van. If it's moved more, I think we've got to go home and take our time going home. But there we go. This is why I said we're not starting season 4. Oh boy. We're going to end on get all the rubbishy stuff ended in the winter videos, and season 4 will start when the boat's ready. It is nice to be on the water though, I'm not going to lie. Just generally on the water. You know, this place, even though we are outgrowing Lake Bala now, this place has a charm. I mean, look at that. Even in this dire weather, look how beautiful that mist is coming over the hills. All the work on the wall has been done now, so there'll be no like blooming machinery noises from 7:30. It'll be like it was in the first year here. Bang on, bang on. Hey, look, there's the crack, look. It's gone to here now. And it was like there, so that's just stationary. Just made a cup of coffee. But yeah, I think today was one of those days that you have to sometimes just get out of your system, don't you? I sometimes feel in life you have to have a few bad days, don't you, to make the good ones count. So that's how I look at it. You've got to laugh at it. I mean, off camera, my outboard actually went wrong today as well. For a minute, I didn't think we were going. Fortunately, I had to go and recalibrate it. I've never done that before. It was left in, when it was neutral, it was actually in reverse by about 100 watts. I didn't know. I let go of one of the lines. Of course, nearly was in the water because the boat just pulled itself out and round. So that could have been a lot worse than it could have been. But yeah, we sorted that. It's raining a storm out there. It's horrible. I've dried myself off. I'm clothed in my. I've got my house clothes back on, and I just want to go home. I just want to go home. Live to fight another day. The boat's where it should be now, so yeah, it's parked back up, all safe. Oh, it's Mick, and we should be okay. So on that note, someone just said hello there, tooting the horn. Oh, it's Dave and Mick. Oh, brilliant. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to go and say hello to my friends. We're going to go home. We're going to limp home with that crack. Hopefully it won't crack too much. And then I will see you in the next one, which will be next week probably. We'll get all the bits and bobs we need to sort that rudder bearing out, and then we'll take it from there. Anyway, for now I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to say goodbye. Bye-bye.